Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the open book. This is your host, Lakeisha, and I hope everyone had a fabulous Wednesday. Oh my goodness, it was rainy here and cold, and so I got a little sleepy earlier, but I think I'm awake now. I think I'm awake. I was like, this is, I think, live number 3. So, hey, we're about to, some of y'all been rocking with me all day, and I appreciate all of your support. We are in for a treat tonight for our book stocking stuffer series, night number 2. Okay. Now, before we get started, let's see who we have here so far. Hey, Janelle, welcome, sis. Thank you so much for joining. Tiffany Adventures is in the building. Hey, sis. That's my girl Clock It with Critical. Hey, sis, thank you for joining. Where have you been? We have missed you. We have missed you, sis. I hope all is well. Special shout out to my Facebook family and my YouTube family on tonight. If you all would like to share this live, share it with your family, with your friends. Hi, Cancer 66. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Yes, you made it to the beginning. Okay. Hi, Sarita. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me go to my Facebook right quick. I think I'm on. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, y'all, we are in for a treat tonight. As I shared yesterday, this is the holiday season. A lot of people are buying gifts, a variety of gifts, okay? Y'all know y'all staying on Amazon, okay? Y'all are staying at the mall, all of that. Hey, Angie, thank you for joining. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited. Thank y'all for popping in. And so, you're just shopping and doing what you need to do. And so we have like what we call those the stockings that we hang sometimes by the fireplace and so forth. And a lot of times you're looking to see what can I put inside of the stocking. Okay. Yeah. Critical say she is an Amazon shorty. Oh my goodness. Hey, Aries Black. Now wait a minute. This is a whole family reunion tonight. Oh my gosh, welcome, sis. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for joining. And so, books, a lot of times we don't think about it, but books are important. They're not only fun to read, entertaining, but important for our lives. The more that we're exposed to a variety of books, our lives expand. Our imagination grows and so forth. And so tonight we have a special author that is our special guest on tonight that is going to share with us 2 books that she has written. Now, Miss Brandy Wilson is not new to the open book. Okay, this is actually, I believe, when she comes up here, I think this is her second time, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's been with us 2 times. But y'all, since the last time she was with us, she has done so much. Okay, and we were talking about it backstage about how it's fun when you're doing things and people see your life and God opening doors and blessings and things of that sort. But then it takes a lot of work. Okay. You can sometimes get tired and so forth, but it's such a blessing. And it's such a blessing to be connected with her as well. So without further ado, let me bring Miss Brandy Wilson to the stage.
Hi.
Hey, Brandy. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy Wednesday, sis. Hey, Dreamy Girl, welcome, girl. Okay, now, Brandy, when I tell you, we were talking backstage, I should say, and we were talking about just how so many things have changed in your life since we talked the last time. Okay, was it 2? Is this the second time?
This will actually be the 3rd time I've been on.
Oh, it's the 3rd time.
Yes, ma'am. This is my 3rd time.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. Okay, I thought it was like once or twice. Girl, wow. So you have been busy, and I'm so happy for you. God has done so many great things in your life. I follow you on Facebook and so forth. And so just seeing it in action is so exciting and phenomenal. So let's learn a little bit about you. For those that this is their first time meeting you, and those of you who have not met her, if you want to check out her previous interviews, you can do that as well. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Brandy.
Well, let's see. I'm an independent author. I that is what my passion is. I'm somebody's mom. I have 2 adult sons. I'm somebody's wife.
Somebody's mom.
Yeah, I'm somebody's mom. I get that a lot. People think, oh, that's not, your kids must be little. No, they're not. My kids are big. And I am an HR director by day. Yes, okay. I'm an HR director by day. So I meet a lot of people, and I've worked in healthcare for 22 years. So in working in healthcare, you get to see all kinds of sides of people, which kind of drove me to be a women's empowerment author. So that is what my journey is right now.
Oh, that's exciting. So a women's empowerment author. Oh, because I was going to ask you, what made you want to become an author?
To be totally honest, I started writing when I was 12, and I was accepted to the Writers Guild of America at 12 years old.
Wow.
Yes, most people don't know that. I started writing when I was 12 years old, and I have been an author since I was 12. I have always wanted to write. My passion was actually to become a music journalist. I had my kids very young, and it's not easy to chase artists and bands around the country and have little people. So I had to put that passion aside for a while until I was done raising my family.
So
yeah,
that takes a lot too.
Most of my life.
Yes, that would take a lot doing that. Hold on, I'm on the live. Hold on, Brandy, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, my apologies. My daughter had her finger. I don't know what happened. My husband's taking care of it.
That's the point of being a mom.
Yes, we just went through this a few minutes ago, and I don't know if she's messing with it, and she had a little cut. And sometimes you pick at it and so forth. But anyways, I'm like, thank God my husband's in there. So the Writers Guild, how exciting is that? How do you become a part of that? Like, especially at such a young age.
You actually have to submit a manuscript.
So you did a whole manuscript at 12?
So I wrote a concept for a television show with the manuscript. Okay. So I wrote a concept for a television show with the manuscript when I was 12, and you have to submit it, and it actually has to be approved or rejected. So it was approved. It was approved at 12 years old. And once it was approved, then of course they send you like all your member paperwork and stuff, and then you have to pay like your membership fees. But that is how you become a member of the Writers Guild.
So, okay, now I'm fascinated with this. So what was the idea? What was the show idea? So
at 12 years old, it would probably have been like 89 when I was 12. I'm dating myself, but that's okay. I wrote a concept for a children's talk show because in the late 80s, early 90s, talk shows were everywhere, literally everywhere. And I realized that as young people, we didn't have one.
Right. Exactly.
But we were glued to the television watching Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake and Phil Donahue and Oprah.
And Young and the Restless and all mature.
So I wrote a concept for a youth talk show.
Wow. So, oh my goodness, I know we could probably go on and on because that's interesting to me to be able to write at that level at 12, because you're coming up with a whole show idea and the ins and outs of that. That is like phenomenal. I've never heard of that, especially at that age. If my fifth graders could have done something like I'm like, wow, that's amazing
Well,
though.
my family was very shocked because I didn't ask for any help to do it. Um,
Okay.
I didn't. At first, what I did is I sent the concept, I sent it to the networks. I sent it to
Okay.
several different networks, and they all wrote back and said, "Hey, this is a really good concept. However, you have to go through the Writers Guild in order for us to look at this." Okay, fine, and that's what I did. Nobody helped me. Um,
Wow.
I think the most anybody did was give me stamps to to
Hmm.
write to
Hmm.
all these networks. Um, and so my
Wow.
family was very proud. They were kind of shocked because they didn't know what it was I was actually doing. And so
Exactly.
once I got my acceptance letter, I was like, "Oh, okay. So apparently I'm doing something right."
Exactly. That's awesome. Congratulations. Because
Thank
that's
you.
a huge accomplishment. Now, the last time I know we talked was about the first book. Now, your friendship book, For the Love of Friendship, is that your first book, correct?
That is my first book. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the concept behind For the Love of Friendship.
So I wrote For the Love of Friendship. I actually started it. It was like a passion project when I was going through some stuff and then COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked in healthcare and I was seeing a lot of my friends and suffering from the fatigue and the things that were happening with COVID. And it was so scary and so shocking. I did not know if we were going to make it on the other end because we were the front line.
Mm.
So I took all of that and I started writing letters to my friends in case anything were to happen to me. And in me writing these letters, I started to see that I had a trend. And so I was looking at the people in my life and I started categorizing them because I realized everybody has these certain group of people in their life.
Right.
Um, and I call it like my cast characters. Everybody's cast varies and differs, but this was my cast, and so I took all of that and I put it in a book so that people could understand there are folks in your life that you need to acknowledge while they're here and give them their
Yes.
flowers now.
I love that. I love
So
that. So you said you wrote letters to all of your friends?
yes. So I like there's people I haven't had known for 30 years that had a huge impact on my life and they didn't even know it. They had no clue what it was that they meant to me. So I sat down and I pinned them a letter and then I took that letter and I created like a whole chapter versus how this person has impacted my life and why I gave them a certain
Mm.
title. Because I don't mention anyone's name in the book, I give them different
Mhm.
titles. So I have like the cheerleader, and I have the crown straightener, and I have
Mm.
my little broke best friends, and I do.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Um, so so that because everybody has a little broke best friends.
Yeah.
Mine are
Yeah.
my children. It doesn't necessarily have to be your children, though. It could be one of your friends who just never has any money. Uh,
Well,
yeah,
look, sometimes I think I might be.
yeah.
Okay,
So
girl, you got to say
so I took
hey.
those letters and I built my chapters around that because I wanted people to understand you have these folks in your life and you need to draw from them and let them know what they mean to you while they're still here on this side of the dirt.
Right, right, exactly. And you know what? That is so important. I'm glad that you said that because sometimes I think, and I love the concept that you have with this, with friendships, where you say you didn't say the people's names, but it was like it's based off of the theme and their characteristics of who they are, because we all need a variety of friends in our lives. Not necessarily everyone like the yes person, or
Yeah, you
the
don't need
one
a
that
you don't need a whole tribe of yes men.
exactly. So having that variety gives us, like, we become, I think, more well-rounded if you have people that will give it to you straight, or you have people that knows I got to sugarcoat it, or one,
Yeah,
when you're down, you call for encouragement and things like that. So I love the titles that you have for your chapters too.
thank you. Yeah, I got pretty creative with them.
Yeah,
Because
the
I just,
broke best friend. I like that. Oh my God.
anyone who is a parent understands, especially if you've ever been like I was a very young parent. And
Hmm.
so my sons went everywhere with me, and they were like my little best friends. We did
Right.
pretty much everything together, and they were always broken. So, of course, I was the one that had to foot the bill. As fun as it was, they were still my little broke best friends.
I love that. Now, Brandy, before I continue, V, hi V, welcome. She had a question. She said, "Do you go to schools?" Hold on, y'all. My phone. On my phone, we had to fix it so we can hear and all of that. So I apologize,
That's
y'all.
okay.
She said, "Do
Um,
you go to schools to speak to kids and so forth?"
I have yet to go to a school. I'm working on it. I'm actually
Okay.
working on doing some speaking engagements at some schools. I am involved it's with some young women's leadership uh, organizations to try
Okay.
to help them. But I have yet to speak at a school. I'm working on it.
Wow. Now that's an awesome idea too, because just to see, a lot of students, and I'll say even more male students, really don't like reading, the reading classes, excuse
Oh, I
me. And
know. I
yeah,
know.
with the boys, oh my gosh. Now the girls more so, love doing that. And you even have some that don't. But just to hear how at a young age, how that door was open for you, and how that was a very good idea to go and share your story. I love that, V. She said you the next Terry McMillan.
Oh, well, I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be.
Right,
I'm
right.
trying. I am.
Now,
I'm working at it. Trust me, I am. There's a lot going on behind the scenes.
I know that's right. Keep it going. Keep it going. Now, in the vein of thinking about friendships, and you wrote this book, and I love that um, you took time out to even do that. Because a lot of times we get busy in our lives, and I'm guilty of this. I've even had to put a public just apology even on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it one day, but
I
I was
did.
like, you saw it. Like
Yeah,
one day, I just was like, sometimes we get so busy with life, and it took one of my former friends. Like we had known each other for 30 years and so forth, and she had brought something up to me, and it was like I didn't know. I really just did not know. I think I hadn't. It wasn't anything against her. I just hadn't thought about it. Like years had gone by, or life happens, and sometimes you forget to congratulate your friend on something, or promote their stuff. Like I did promote it, but not maybe as many times as I should have, or just randomly calling people or sending cards. Like
yeah.
sometimes we forget, we're so wrapped up in our own lives. Um I have to be more intentional about that, reaching out with people. I'm working on it, y'all. I really have been,
So
because
my
God will check
favorite
us in that.
quote. I have a quote that my favorite quote is: "You
Hmm.
make time for what is important.
Right, exactly.
You
You are
make
so
time
right. I
for what
just
is
posted
important."
that too.
And I try to remind my sons that you have to make time for the things that are important, because you can just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and totally forget to say, hey, I probably need to call this person and make sure they're okay.
Right. Uh-huh.
Um,
So
it,
true.
and that's not something you never want to like get a text message or a call one day and know that your friend has passed away and you didn't take a minute to say, hey, I'm thinking of you.
Right.
It takes a second. You don't have to call them. I mean, we have text now.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Now, what do you think would what are some qualities that good friends pretty much would possess?
Good friends are honest with you, and there's no apologies for their honesty. Good friends accept you at your worst and accept you at your best. Um, we're human beings and we can be very difficult. We can be moody. We can, we can have lots of things that go on to where our personality and attitudes change. A good friend will understand that and try to say, okay, she's going through something right now. I'm gonna give her a minute.
Right.
We'll circle back and see how things are going. And you can be brutally honest in good friendships. You might not
Definitely.
necessarily like what they have to say, but you can accept it because that's your friend. It's a relationship. It's a love relationship, like a husband and wife relationship. Your friendship
Mhm.
is on the same caliber. And people use the term friend so loosely,
Right.
and it's
Hmm.
not a term that you should use loosely.
Ooh, you better preach, okay? 'Cause not everyone is, okay? Some are
No,
associates,
some are
different categories.
associates, some are just merely co-workers, some
Right,
are just people that you possibly used to know, and at one point you called them friend. They're not necessarily your friend now.
right, right. That's good. That's good. V said one of my pet peeves are friends that act as if they are the only one with a plight in life.
I wrote
Yep.
about that too. I wrote about the fake and phony friends. I wrote
Uh-oh.
about the snakes in the grass.
Uh-oh.
I wrote about people who try to mimic who you are in life instead of
Ooh.
having their own. Yeah, I wrote about all of that. I did not hold back.
Wow. And that is awesome. That's something to really think about. Because it can be those different categories of friends. We think of, oh, this is my friend, this person, XYZ, we're good. But then you do have the other side that it may turn into something like that. So what do you do, or do you have any advice if you had a friendship and there's a fracture in that friendship?
So I wrote about that too. It's a breakup. And it hurts. It hurts.
Hmm.
It hurts bad. It hurts like any romantic relationship when you break up with a friend. And there's a point of mourning and a point where you have to get over it. And you have to sit back and look at the friendship and look at the duration of friendship and see what it brought to your life. Did it
Mm,
impact you in a positive way? Was this
right,
person helpful? Was this person, someone that you could call on in your time of need? Or was this a person who, they went out there and would cheat on their husband and be like, girl, I'm gonna use you as a scapegoat. Just say I was at your
uh-uh.
house. Stuff like that.
Oh,
That's
wow.
not a real friend. It isn't. You shouldn't have to lie for your friend. If you guys have the same morals and you're on the same wavelength in life, your friend would know how you feel about certain things.
Right, exactly. Oh, I like that. So what do you think would be like maybe the top two or three things that we should do to maintain healthy relationships with our friends?
Um, you have to give people grace. You do.
Mm,
You have to give them grace. You have to be able to come to the carpet sometimes and hatch it out, especially if this is a friendship you want to keep. Um, and you really do have to spend time with one another. It doesn't have
right.
to be every day. You don't have to call each other every day. You don't have to see each other every day. But you do need to carve out a little piece of your life to share with that other person that you call friend.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Carving out time. And sometimes we just may need to put it in, on our calendar. Because I know the older I get, the more I forget some stuff. So I just kind of put it into my calendar. And so I'll say, okay, my friend, one of them, she wanted to go out to eat, and we both lost track of time because I think that was supposed to happen about 3 weeks ago. But we had rescheduled, never scheduled it again.
And
And so
that's
I need to reach
fine.
out to her.
You can put it on calendar. You can schedule it. You can set reminders. My best friend, we actually have to schedule time to see each other. We do.
Right.
Life gets busy, and that's okay. I mean, when we
Hmm.
were younger, we saw each other almost 3 times out of the week. But
Right.
life has shifted in a different direction. She's busy. She's raising a little person. I'm busy. I have several different careers going on and several different projects happening. And so we just have to make time to see one another.
Yes. And I love that you said we make time for what we want to make time for.
Yep, we do.
We we will. We definitely will. Now, B said it really does feel like a breakup because in a way it is oh, in a way it is. I just went through that this past year. Wow, the oh my goodness. Yeah. I understand. I have to. I have to
I have to.
reconsider. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
It's
fun.
like a-
And you mourn the loss because you make memories with these people. You share your life with them. They a lot of times they're part of your family. And so when you break up with them, it's hard. And
right.
it's part of the grieving process, and you have to heal from it. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time, and sometimes it might take years. You just don't know.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's different for every person. And I think also the depth of that friendship too.
Yeah.
Of how much you grieve, after that. Because I know things had even in my, not even real close friends, but people I have been accustomed to being around. And sometimes life just shifts and y'all go in different directions and so forth. And you even grieve those moments, when things are just not the same, or you don't get to see that person as much and so forth. You got to go through that withdrawal period. And but it could come back around. Life is, to me, full circle sometimes, where it may not necessarily be a bad thing, where it's just not that season right now, and we may have to shift sometimes.
And you always have to remember that if it was a real friend in the beginning and you still love one another, you'll still be
Mhm.
friends.
Right.
You really
Right.
will. You really
I
will. If
love that.
the feeling is mutual and you really want to keep that person in your life, you'll still be friends.
I love that. Mm-mm-mm. Now, you took a shift in direction with this second book that you
Yeah,
wrote.
I did.
Totally different. Oh my goodness. So we went from For the Love of Friendship, and then you have a new book called Wrongful.
Yes, I do. So, Wrongful was released this past June. And
Okay.
to be totally honest, I did not want to write this book. Uh, the,
Uh-oh.
yeah,
I
so
think we talked
Wrongful,
about it too
we
at the
did.
last interview. Okay.
We
I
did.
remember that.
We did talk about Wrongful. And I pushed the release date because it was actually supposed to come out in 2023. But I was having such a hard time getting through it. I pushed
Mm,
it until this year. Uh,
wow.
so Wrongful is actually my true story. Um, which is why it's so hard for me to talk to people about this book. When
Mm,
my son was 17 years old, he was wrongfully incarcerated in another state without committing a crime. Most
wow.
people said, "Oh, that doesn't happen." It absolutely does happen. Um, it is called the troubled teen industry. They can arrest your child for various things, and a lot of times they throw them in facilities like boot camps or wilderness schools or therapy schools. And it is really hard to get your kid back from those situations.
Wow. So, so I'm thinking about this. How long ago did that happen?
Well, he's 23 now, and he was 17 when this happened.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah. So I held on to it because I had to go through a lot of therapy.
Yeah, I can imagine as a mother.
Yeah. I had to go through a lot of therapy. There was a lot of healing that had to happen. There was a lot of growth. And in that whole transition, I also had to let him go because he had become an adult.
Mm.
So
So,
it took a while, and I didn't want to write it. It took some friends uh, talking to me after I had finally opened up about the situation, because most people had no idea what I was going through. You know,
mhm,
uh, typically us as Black women, we go through struggles and don't say anything to anybody. We
that's
try to
true.
handle it on our own. And then when it's over, of course, we have massive breakdowns and we're not okay. So once all of that was over and I came through on the other side, I was telling some friends exactly what happened. And all I heard was, you need to tell your story so that it doesn't happen to somebody else.
Wow. So, do you mind giving us like a little background into what happened
Sure.
during that time?
Sure. So, kids have growing pains, and mine was having some bad growing pains, and he was getting to be very, very unruly. So his father said, "Hey, maybe send him out to the state of Nevada where he resides. A change of scenery might help." Fine, cool, great. I did that, didn't help. He still was running amok a little bit. Um, Nothing major, but he was in a car with some friends. They had been drinking and smoking weed, and they got in a car accident. My son was not driving. The law states that if a child is not driving, you're not supposed to give them a field sobriety test. They gave my son a field sobriety test. They arrested him for minor consumption. But in the state of Nevada, marijuana is legal. So it's a ticketable offense with the maximum fine of $500. Okay.
Wow.
Um, because my kiddo was the only one that was brown, that did not happen. The judge felt that he needed to make an example of my child and felt that he was a kid in need of supervision, which means they try to make your child a ward of the state.
Wow.
Most parents do not understand that and go ahead and sign over their parental rights, and their kid gets lost to these troubled teen industry institutions. I did not let that happen. I refused to sign anything to sign my kid over. Pissed the judge off because didn't realize it was one Black mama that was not going to have it.
Right. I know that's right.
Just wasn't happening on my watch. So he sentenced him to an actual correctional facility. Mind you, no crime was
Wow.
committed. So this mama talked to the senator, the governor, the state legislator, and the administrator of juvenile justice in that state. My son was sent back home to me in 3 months.
Wow. After 3 months. So he had to spend 3 months in the correctional facility?
Yep, because there's a lot of red tape. Once a judge signs an order and stuff happens, there's a lot of red tape within our legal system and in our government. 3 months was the fastest I could get him home.
Oh my goodness. And he was 17. So he was still practically a teenager when this
Yep,
happened. Still
he had
young.
just turned 17 that June. Uh, and his mom did all of that with no attorney.
So you did all of this by yourself? Like speaking to the senator, all of that.
All of it by myself.
Oh my goodness. And our children, they don't realize the things that a mom, especially a mom, of course, dads too, some, but mothers, the things that we will do for them. And you having to really go through, because I know that had to have been a lot of like a variety of emotions going through that
Yeah.
situation and in your head. during
Yeah,
that time? You want to
there
elaborate
was a
on that?
lot of mental breakdowns. There was a lot of crying. There was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of feeling of hopelessness and helplessness. There was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of it. And there was fear because my little suburban kid that had been handed everything in his life was now in a correctional facility.
Wow. Oh, girl. And so with that, so now thank God he was able to get out of that situation. So what inspired you to write this story? What
Um,
what audience, intended audience do you have?
so my intended audience is moms in general, and especially moms of kids of color, because
Mm-hmm.
there are so many of us that end up in that same situation, and you don't know what to do or how to get your child out of that situation.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, you don't have an advocate. Um, so at least with me telling my story, there's tidbits of what you can do. And I also wrote in there what the law says when certain things happen to your child. Um,
Mm,
because the law is very gray. It is not black and white like people think. It is open to interpretation. And so
right.
your job is to make someone understand what you perceive the law to be. Um, and it's hard. It's not easy. It's a fight. It really is.
Mhm.
And I was very determined that my child would not be lost in that system.
I know that's right. Oh my goodness. And you are up against the fight when you're already, black, you have to go through that fight. Being a woman, you have to go through that fight because some people will not even respect a black woman. Okay.
They
And
don't.
now you're having to fight for your child. And some people, hold on, Michael, I'm gonna go ask Daddy right quick, okay? And then you have to go through the fight of trying to get your son. And a lot of times people automatically assume, oh, he must be guilty. He
Yeah.
was he was in the car. He must have been guilty. He did this, he did that, and did not even know the full story. So then you
Yep.
got to go through that fight.
Yep. You
It's a
do. You
lot.
have to go through that fight because, in all honesty, he was being a kid. He was doing what kids do. I don't know
Hmm.
any teenager, including myself, that has never drank in a car with a bunch of other kids, um,
Yeah,
or
they do
attempted
do that.
to smoke marijuana. I don't. I really don't. So for all of that to come from one night was really hard for me to believe. And the bad part was my child was the only child of color in the car.
Wow. Now, what was the sentence? How long was he
Oh,
originally supposed to be in
so
there?
so the judge, it was kind of in two parts. So once the judge said he was a child in need of supervision, he said,
Hmm.
I'm going to send him to a boot camp. Okay, that's great if the parent actually goes along with it, because
Okay.
boot camps are privately funded. All of those schools and things, they're privately funded institutions. So you have to have the parents' permission for those kids to go. They want to charge your
Mm.
insurance. They want
Oh,
to, if something were to happen to them, they would like you to pay money for them. You have to send money for clothing and food and tuition and all of those things. Um, I said, nope, I'm not going to agree to this. First and foremost, I don't live in that state. I live in the state of
wow.
Texas. My son legally resides in the state of Texas. He was just out there temporarily. So no, I'm not
Okay.
going to do that. And as a
Wow.
parent, I know I don't have to do that. So once the judge realized I was not going to consent to any of this, that pissed him off because when
Mhm.
they send those kids to those types of programs, that's money.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's money. That's money that goes into the state. Yeah, they're dollar signs.
Wow.
So I said, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not sending my kid to a boot camp. I'm not doing any of this. And now there's documentaries based on those programs. There's maybe 4 of them on Netflix right now. So I wasn't going to do that. So that infuriated the judge, because how dare I not go along with the sentence that he imposed?
Mm. Oh, I know he was upset.
Yeah, how dare I? How dare you, as a Black woman, try to challenge me?
Right.
So, because I can do this, I have this power, I'm going to go ahead and send him to a correctional facility, which is the wrong thing to do, because once you get in the state, uh, they don't like stuff like that, because that's technically against the law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I it was a lot of fighting I had to do. I see a question down there that says, "Do I resent his dad a bit during this situation?"
Yeah.
There's not resentment there. There's some things that have not been talked about or spoken through, um, which is fine, because, to be totally honest, I was the only one who had sole custody of him. His dad was a soldier, and he honestly didn't see him till he was 3. And
Oh,
so
okay.
that relationship was a little bit broken to begin with. Uh, and anytime you bring an absentee parent in to try to help parent, it doesn't always go over very well.
Right.
So I don't resent him at all for any of that. But that is not my relationship with my child. That's between
Mhm.
him and his dad.
Right. Right. And I'm just so glad that you fought, because sometimes, and y'all, even, and I know this, your situation is at the other, like, extreme level of where this goes, but y'all will be surprised that there are a lot of Black boys that have been just misdiagnosed with different things, um, as far as autism, and
Oh
being
yeah,
put
and
into
bipolar
special
disorder, and
education.
they put him in these school. I wrote about that in
Hmm.
the book. And
Okay.
oftentimes they, like, their parents pass away and they have anger issues, and so
Yes.
the state just thinks it's the best thing to do to put them in one of these treatment facilities. Um, I wrote about, there's one little boy that happened to. His mother passed away, and they put him in a treatment facility, and ultimately he lost his life there.
Wow. See? I mean, it's so sad.
Yeah. So
And it happens a lot.
it's not just, my kid was a one-off situation. It
Hmm.
happens far more often than people realize.
Right, right. And I've seen it over and over. And so I was saying that to say, fight for your children. Show up to these meetings. They need an advocate, someone that's going to speak up for them, to fight on their behalf, because just just because a person is in a certain position or have a certain title does not mean that they're always right. And if we're not going to fight for especially our Black boys, okay, I know I go back to that because it's so much happening right now. And it starts at a young age, okay? It starts at the young age now, elementary level, and it's
Yep.
going up into, the young men and so forth. So I'm so glad that you did not allow him to be in a system where that would have damaged him just from something like that, something just that teens do. And then he had to be the one to suffer the consequence of that. That wasn't right.
No, it's not. And he's a lot better now. And he still lives at home with me, which is fine. I like him here.
Oh, he probably happy. It should not be anything that he wouldn't do for his mom. Okay,
Yeah. So,
you can always bring that back up. No, please.
and he will tell people, there's nothing I wouldn't do for my mom. My mom is my girl. Um,
Yes.
he adores his mother, and he knows how hard I fought to keep him out of that situation. So I
Right.
don't think it's something that he will ever forget. I know I won't.
Mhm. I know that's right.
I know I will not forget it. You know, and we are in a better situation because of it, because he's here with me and he's not a part of the system that they have built for us, where you go in and you come out and you go in and you come out and you have an X on your back for no reason at all.
Right, right. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. I mean, just to have not only those two books, which are For the Love of Friendship and Wrongful, and they're on Amazon also, right? Can you
They're on
purchase those on
Amazon,
Amazon?
they're at Barnes and Nobles, and Wrongful was just accepted to the library.
Oh, now what's the library? Like, just
The National
library? How does that
Library for the
work?
state of Texas. You can request
What?
my book at the library.
Wait a
So,
second. Wait a second. Okay,
yes,
hold
ma'am.
up.
Yes.
Explain that. Okay, I'm so
Okay.
excited for you.
So typically when books go to the library, you know, they're either a bestseller or there's something, someone has to want them. When you're an independent author, you can actually submit your book to the National Library Association, and they will put it on their card catalog where people can request your book. So that is on the shelves in the library.
Oh my goodness.
So
See, you speak my language. Okay, because see, y'all see when God will surround you with people who are where you're trying to be. Okay, you can ask questions. Girl, how I get up in the library?
yes. So that is how
This
you
is
get your book
awesome.
into the library. And then you actually can do book signings and you can say, hey, I'm an independent author. Can I come in and
Mhm.
speak about my book?
Wow. Okay, we definitely gonna talk behind the scenes on that. Cause next year, 2025, okay, I'm trying to get into Barnes and Noble and the
Oh,
library.
For the Love of Friendship and Wrongful, that Barnes and Nobles too.
Yes, I know. I put it on there. I had to add it because I just had Amazon so far, but also I wanted to share your other thing that you're doing. Okay, because look, y'all, she's doing everything. She doesn't just write books. She has a whole podcast. Let me pull up y'all's website. So
Okay.
tell us about your Hella Friends podcast. Okay.
Okay. So at the beginning of this year, this spring, my
Okay.
co-host, her name is Chrissy Fulton. She is one of my dearest friends. I have known Chrissy for forever. She came to me and she said, hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I said, I have not thought about doing a podcast at all. I said, what would I have to talk about? And she said, Brandy, you are so full of knowledge and you are so impactful. And there's things that you say that people probably need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, girl, don't nobody want to hear what I have to say. I talk all day at work.
Me too, girl. I'll run my mouth.
You know, I'm trying to make sure people want to come to work every day. And she said, no, I really think people need to hear what you have to say.
Right.
And so I said, you know what, Chrissy, we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. And she said, I will do it with you. Fine, cool, great. I found a studio. We went in the studio and it was effortless. It was
Wow.
literally effortless. I 9 times out of 10, I write the content. And so the things that we talk about are things that we as women have to deal with on a regular basis. So
Okay.
Chrissy and I both have interracial marriages, which
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes people don't realize is a lot harder than just saying my spouse is of a different race, because
Right.
there's family drama that goes along with it. There's a lot of things you still get looks and there you still get like snide remarks and stuff. And Chrissy's Hispanic and her husband is Black. I'm
Okay.
Black, my husband is white. And so we've heard it all and seen it all. And so that was one of the topics we talked about, because there was one particular incident, something was bothering me, and she said, well, we should talk about it.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
fine. and then we've talked about this past election. We talked about that and how women of color don't get their just desserts. And
Mm.
yeah, we talked about that too. Um, you know, we tried to keep it as PC as we possibly could, but
Right.
we talked about that because any woman of color knows we have to fight a lot harder and be better than 30 men. Um,
Right.
and so
Right.
we talked about that. We are the last episode I think we did was the the stages of grief.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Uh,
good around the holidays too.
yeah. So we talked about the stages of grief. Chrissy and I both have lost like a father figure. I've lost my father. She's lost her grandfather, and
Wow.
um, she was older, and I was a kiddo, and so we have different outlooks on grief. Um, I know kids that suffer from grief never really get over it, and adults are able to process grief differently because adults know that people die.
Right.
Kids, not
Right.
so much. And so we talked about the stages of grief um, so that we could get that off of our chest and out in the open.
Wow.
So I mean, we sit there and we talk about things that matter to us as women, that matter to us, within society and trying to get
Hmm.
along with everybody. And it's not easy. They're not always easy conversations. And we also talk
Exactly.
about a lot of music and a lot of things that happened when we were growing up in the 90s, when life was a little bit simpler.
Hmm. And I listened to when you had sent me that, I think it was y'all's first episode, and you're a natural. Like, girl, it's like y'all were just talking, sitting at home, talking on the couch. I mean, oh my goodness. I said, this is a great idea. And I'm glad that y'all went through with that and are continuing that because you have a lot of great topics. And I love the diversity that you all bring together as
Thank
well.
you. It's been a lot of work. It's not easy.
Hmm.
Because we record every 2 weeks, and between having a book and then working full time and then having a podcast and having to write the content for the podcast and having to promote the
Right.
podcast, it is a lot. But we really do enjoy what we do.
Right. You have
Really,
to enjoy it.
we really do, and it gives us a platform to kind of speak about who we are, because I think we're very relatable women.
Right. I can tell. I can tell. Now, a couple of, if y'all have questions, y'all can kind of drop some questions. We did have some questions that came up. V wanted to know, are you doing audiobooks?
I have yet to do audiobooks.
Me
That is
too. Look, wait, you need to help me too, girl, when you get to that
that
point.
is that is on my list. I've actually had I've had 3 or 4 book signings this year, and every time I
Okay.
speak about the book, people ask me, um, "Do you have an audiobook?" I said, "No, I don't have an audiobook yet. I am working on an audiobook."
Okay. Okay. So that's good to know, y'all. It's coming. Okay. Now, Brittany wanted to know the Hello Friends podcast. Where can they listen at?
Okay. So you can listen to Hella Friends on YouTube. You can listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to it if you actually go to our website. All the episodes are on there. Um, we're
Okay.
on Instagram. We're on Threads. We're on Facebook.
Wow. So y'all are over the place. Okay,
Yes, we are.
I need
We
to
are trying to.
subscribe.
I'm trying to be the next Oprah Winfrey. Like
Hello.
my.
Okay. Look, you can do the. I'll let you do the one on camera. I'd rather do like the radio thing, behind the scenes.
No,
That's my thing.
ma'am. I'm
I
trying
love
to have
it.
my
Just to
I'm trying to have
talk.
my favorite things. I'm trying to have a magazine. I'm trying to do it all.
I know that's right, girl. That is you already doing it. Okay,
I'm
you are
trying.
already doing it.
We're steadily getting there. Um and it's a lot. I mean, it's not an easy task. So when people think that it's easy to just go out and write books, I'm like, no, that is
Right.
very taxing. It's very hard. And if you have a career on top of writing books, you have to carve out time for the rest of your life.
Right. That's true. That is so true. And I'm gonna get with you too, because next year I was speaking with LB yesterday. I want to do a writing workshop for my members, those that are members, just kind of giving them the basics of how to start your writing process and kind of walking them through some of those things. So I may, if you have time, because I know you are very busy.
Absolutely. I am always willing to help. I'm always willing to help. One of my goals for 2027 is I actually want to start a publishing company.
Yes.
I
Oh
want
my
to have,
goodness. That is awesome.
yeah, I want to be able to have my own Black women-owned publishing company.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's not enough of us. Our voices are
Right.
not heard enough.
Hmm.
And it's time that we are seen and upfront.
Yes. Oh, and you know what? Let me grab that because I see V's question. I'm gonna drop it in the chat, but they want me to drop your link to your YouTube. While I'm
Okay.
doing that, Rebecca wanted to know: have you ever thought about doing a book for children?
I I have not. I have been asked to write a children's book. um,
Wow.
I have been asked to write a children's book. Believe it or not, when my kids were little, I used to make up stories for them on the fly. And my older son is 27, my younger son is 23. They still remember some of the stories I used to make up. That has since like come in my head and gone. And then my mother even asked me to write a children's book. So I've been throwing around a couple of things. I actually started a young adult novel.
Hmm.
Not sure where that's going to go because my writing process is this. I'll start about 6 or 7 books. I will. I'll start about 6 or 7 books. Wherever the spirit takes me is where I go. That's
Right.
just where I go. That's how the books get written. That's how things get done. It is, how am I feeling about this story right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I will say this, there'll probably be a children's book. I don't know how good it'll be. Because I do have a grandbaby coming.
Oh, congratulations,
Thank you.
girl! Now, how in the world you're gonna have grandbaby books, businesses, podcasts, trying to be on TV like Oprah? Girl, you got a lot.
Yes, I
Oh
do.
my goodness, I'm so happy for you though. I
Thank
did
you.
drop the link in the chat to Hella Friends podcast, and I just subscribed myself. Okay, because I wasn't even subscribed. I'm like, so wonder I'm not seeing all of this. Brittany says she just subscribed as well, and
Thank you, ladies.
you're welcome. Anyone else that wants to subscribe, click that link that's in the chat and you can subscribe to her channel or their podcast. V said, congratulations.
Thank
She said,
you.
Brandy, it would be great. Let's see, it would be great if you can link up with an up and coming talented illustrator for your book. I guess the children's book.
Yes, I actually know a couple of illustrators. I have a friend who is a comic book writer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the really cool thing about me is I like to meet different people,
Right.
because you never know when you might need them in your life.
That's
Uh,
correct.
and my friend that's a comic book writer, he's an illustrator and a writer. I met him when I was 17. Um, didn't know if I would ever need to use him for anything, but he has also said if I ever write a children's book, he would be right there to help me along.
Wow. So you already see, you're already up in there. You never know. Okay. Let's see. She said, would you let's see, you would probably be able to make some great table topics conversation starters is already something that is sold in stores or online. Have you heard of that?
I've seen those. I haven't used them only because my topics of discussion usually come from real life conversations every day. Like I said, I'm talking to people constantly. I'm always meeting someone new. Even when I have book signings, I'll take a minute and have a discussion with somebody. That's usually how the topics kind of pop up, just in general life. And I think we need to do that a lot more, is have conversations
Right.
with people. Um,
So true.
because we don't. We're too busy looking at screens most of the time. Um, and I think we need to like look up and look at the world around us and start talking to people a lot more.
Ooh, that's really good. That's good advice.
It is. And it's hurtful to me that we don't do that. We don't engage with human beings like we should.
Right. Even when we go out to eat and things like that, we don't really, we have to purposely think to ourselves, let me put my phone down.
Yeah.
Because you're used to just picking up the phone, kind of paying attention, halfway paying attention or not. To
Yeah.
them. So it's
Or just
like,
scrolling and just, doing random stuff.
right,
So
right,
yeah, we need to go back to the one good thing that happened in the 50s and 60s and 70s. We didn't have phones.
right,
We had
exactly.
we had to talk to one another.
You had
Uh,
to learn how to talk to each other, play outside,
yeah, yeah,
all of that.
we had to communicate with one another. We need to go back to doing that. So
Mhm.
that's where my conversations come from. I did see another question that said if I was ever going to have like an open discussion.
Okay.
We actually tried to get one started when the first book came out. So that'll be something that most likely will happen in 2025, where we get people together and try to just have like an open forum,
Hmm.
where we take questions and stuff. Um, I did not know I was this popular.
Yeah, you are, because you're all over the place. Okay,
had
you can't help but to be.
had no idea. Had no idea. Um, so that is something we're looking for, a venue. So once I get the venue and I start to like play around with stuff and I can find other speakers, because I
Mhm.
don't want it just be me.
Right, right, exactly. And
Um,
it's important to take people, when God elevates us is, hey, let me help you come up. That's how I look at life too.
Exactly. So I would like to have a forum of like other independent authors, other women who are impactful, who want to make a change within our community.
Right.
So that is something that I'm working on for 2025.
Don't forget me. Okay.
I won't. I will not forget you. I will not
I'm
forget you.
ready.
Um, I I do have a book signing coming up at the Doc Bookshop. If everybody is
Okay.
local, it is located in Fort Worth. It's the number one Black-owned bookstore in North Texas.
Mm,
Most people don't know that. So
congratulations.
I will keep you guys posted of the dates, uh, because I'll be speaking there too.
Wow. Now, will that be streamed live on your podcast or anything?
Probably not. The bookstore
Okay.
usually does stream it.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the bookstore will stream it. We'll probably do like some tidbits here and there. Um,
Okay.
but the bookstore, because the bookstore is actually massive. Everybody who's anybody has been in that bookstore. The first book I did, I followed behind Viola Davis at that
Oh,
bookstore.
wow.
Yeah. So so I implore
Oh, man.
anybody to go over there, because it is an experience to be had.
Wow. Oh, girl. Oh, my goodness. Look, I know you said earlier you were tired, but listening to these accomplishments, girl, you're just doing so much. So I truly understand that.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's like
a lot.
great things you're doing. Exactly. It's a lot. V said she loves you. Beta, she said, you go, girl.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. We appreciate you. Any final words or thoughts?
Um, my final thoughts are, in 2025, be slow to speak and quick to listen. There's a lot happening in the world and in our country alone, and I was someone who stands up for the good fight and believes in equality for everybody, and I see us moving backwards. Um, I made a post this last election that I was the first generation in my family who was born with the right to vote and born with the right to own their own property, their own checking account. I was the first woman in my entire family born
Oh
with those
my.
rights. And a lot of that is probably going to change in the next few years. So be slow to speak and quick to listen.
Woo, those are powerful words and so true. That's why
Yeah,
we have two ears and one mouth.
that's right. That's right.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brandy, so much for being our special guest on
Thank
this evening.
you.
Oh my goodness. It's been such a pleasure having you. Thank you for every time that you've been on here.
Thank you
I'm
for always
so
having me. You are
excited.
such a gracious host.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. You're always welcome here. I told you that the last time. So anytime you're welcome because I know you're working on a lot of great things. And so we just want to keep people in the know, and my platform is always open to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, sis. And I'm going to
Good
be in
night,
touch.
guys. All right. Bye.
Okay. Have a good night.
Good night. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye bye. Oh my gosh, y'all. I told you we were in for a treat. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for Brandy. She has done some amazing, amazing things in her life with her books For the Love of Friendship, Wrongful, which is a true story about her fight for her son that was wrongfully accused and put into a correctional facility. She had to fight to get him back. Okay, out of that, not going into the system. Okay, that one was not, and she went and had to speak to whoever she had to speak to, and she fought for her son. Was able to get him out of that situation in 3 months. Okay, and then also she has a podcast called Hella Friends Podcast, and I did share that link in the chat. Let me go back up. And, should have started. Go back up and highlight it again. What's time? Now I know. Oh, okay, here it is. I'm like, I know it's not too far up, but I did put it in the chat. If you would like to go and subscribe to their channel, her and her friend, they have an awesome podcast as well. Um, Thank you, V. I appreciate you for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so much. Yes, y'all have a great night, those of you who are leaving. But it has been such an awesome, awesome evening. Thank y'all for coming out again tonight for our second night of book. Oh, yeah, book. What is it, y'all? Oh Lord, I don't look. I'm so tired. Book stocking stuffer series. Baby, when I tell you it's been a day, okay, at work today, it was a lot going on today. And so I was like, I got to give it my all, though, because I love doing things with excellence. And so I just wanted to say thank you all so, so much tonight for doing this, for coming to be a part of it, even the late crew that's coming in. Thank y'all so much. V said, open. I was mad I missed your last live. I caught the replay at work. Yes, we were missing you. I got to have your thoughts in there too. Okay. I'm like, man, I'm still here. You were telling Brandy good night. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. And so yeah, so I thank y'all so so much for joining this evening. Make sure y'all hit that like button, okay? And also make sure you subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell because you never know when I'm going to go live. Queen Tandy said I was mad. Let's see, I was mad too. Open book. I missed this morning. Yes, and we this morning it was funny. We covered two topics, okay? We had a good time. Now that second live, okay, y'all need to go back and watch that one. I was getting a little heated towards the end. I had to get off, okay, because she's not playing with us, okay? What you're not about to do is play with us, especially with something so serious. And so y'all go back and watch it though. But yeah, we kind of walked through this thing. And then Yes, you were happy. I'm glad you were there too. We had some laughs. We had some laughs. Yeah, beat out. I'm tired, boss. Okay. You know, you're so tired. You're up there, your eyes closing, but you're still smiling and laughing. It's like I'm asleep, but I'm not. Okay. I'm still talking to y'all. And the longer I stay on here, the goofier I get. Okay, I told y'all that. The longer I stay up. Yeah, thank y'all so much. Y'all make sure you support my sis. Um, she has those two books, okay? Y'all know y'all stay on Amazon. Okay, y'all know Amazon, you got your cart filled up right now with $2,000 worth of stuff you're not gonna buy. Okay, so go ahead and fill it up with two more. Get For the Love of Friendship and Wrongful by Brandy Wilson. Okay. Um, V said, drop that link. Yes, I will be. I have dropped the link before, but nobody wants to come up. What happened? What? I mean, I'm dropping it for y'all, but y'all never come up. Queen Sandy said, I hit the like, will always support. Much love and see y'all in the morning. Have a good night. You too, Queen Sandy. Thank you, sis, because I know y'all had a long day too. When content creators go live and then some of y'all are moderators, that's a long day for y'all as well. So we appreciate your support, y'all listening, watching the replay. Shout out to the replay game. Y'all not playing. Okay, now they'll probably hear this later. But they come back or they find me some way. Okay, I don't know how they're finding me, but shout out to the replay game. Y'all are rocking it. Everyone's rocking it, but the replay game, people finding me, they rocking it even more. Okay, yeah. No, you're not tired, girl. Okay, it might be an early little night. I think I woke up too early. I'm on that Amazon wish list for Rose. Look, okay, do y'all? I may come back, okay, just to laugh. So let me get off of this slide. I'm going to keep this professional and dedicated to Miss Brandy Wilson. And I may just do like a little mini pop up if y'all just want to come back and we laugh about some stuff. But I love y'all so, so much. Yes, her name is Brandy Wilson. Thank y'all so much for joining. And don't forget to hit the like. Talk to you later. Bye bye.